Yes, hello, Mr. Jahur Bhatt. Welcome on YourPedia platform, and let's start your RAC snap for your final JKPSC interview for the post of Assistant Engineer in Public Works Department. Jahur, what is refrigeration?
So refrigeration is the process of lowering the temperature of space below the atmospheric temperature.
So how we can produce refrigeration?
Sir, for refrigeration, we are actually using a concept of work absorbent devices in which we use a refrigerator that for refrigerator, we are actually providing the external work, and with the help of by providing the external work, the refrigeration extracts the heat from the refrigerator space and throws it to the another from sink to the source.
So always some kind of work is required to produce refrigeration.
Yes, sir.
Without work, we cannot produce refrigeration.
Sir, in that case, yes, for refrigeration, we need to produce an external work.
But if you will talk about VRS system, vapor absorption refrigeration system.
Yes, sir. In vapor absorption refrigeration system, we are actually using the low grade thermal energy to produce a refrigeration effect. Like this another form, like solar energy, thermal energy, geothermal energy. In that type of energy, we are actually providing the vapor absorption refrigeration system, and by producing the refrigeration effect with the help of that input energy.
So, Jude, yes, what I mentioned in VRS, we only require some kind of low grade energy, heat.
Yes,
no
sir.
Required.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, in if we talk about the normal refrigerator system, we are providing the work. Work is also a form of energy. Like work is a high grade form of energy. But in vapor absorption refrigeration system, we are using the low grade form of energy. So in both the cases, we are actually providing the external energy from the external source. So without providing the external energy, we can't produce the refrigerator.
How you can define the maximum COP of VRS?
Yes, sir. Sir, maximum COP of VRS vapor absorption, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is actually, sir. If I have to like, it is equal to CO. 1 second, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, COP is desired effect upon work input. But in case of vapor absorption refrigeration system, we are sir, in terms of like, do I need to provide the formula? Or I'm actually getting confused with the
just
question.
Define how you can define. Just give me some idea how you can define the COP of VRS.
Yes, sir.
Because there is no work input. There is no work input. So how you can define COP?
Sir, actually in VRS system, first there we have the evaporator, so we can calculate the refrigeration effect from the VRS, and for work input, we are actually providing the work in the form of generator. So actually, in that case, we are using the generator and plus this pump work.
Jahur, in VCRS, we prefer some kind of superheating and subcooling.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason behind that?
Sir, actually, in case of subcooling, if we use a subcooling, at that case we are getting the maximum refrigeration effect without compromising with the this compressor work. And so if we do the subcooling, we will get the highest COP and we will get the highest refrigeration effect without increasing or decreasing the compressor work. But in case of superheating, in that case, in that case, there is slightly increase in the compressor work and also in the refrigeration effect. So based on that, we can, but this superheating does not always give us the highest refrigeration, because in some, it depends, superheating depends on the use of refrigerant. Like in case of R22 and NH3, due to superheating, the refrigeration effect decreases. But in case of R11 and R134, it will increase. But in case of subcooling, we always get the highest refrigeration effect.
So suppose, Jahur, we want to choose a refrigerant for a particular VCRS. Suppose you want to design a For example, 2 ton VCRS system, 2 ton air
Yes, sir.
conditioner. आपको 2 ton का एक air conditioner design करना है.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you only one input. I'm not giving you other inputs. So you can
Yes, sir.
ask me to provide some kind of more inputs, or you can go with any kind of suitable assumptions. So
Yes,
tell
sir.
me how you will choose the refrigerant.
Sir, I would first see the what is the like the refrigerant. So there are different some properties on the basis of which we can choose the refrigerant. For example, if the best suitable refrigerant is that having highest latent heat of absorption and having low specific heat capacity, having a high this boiling temperature. And on the basis of these properties, sir, we can or having the low freezing point temperature. So these are the properties which we can generally define before choosing a refrigerant.
What do you understand by chemical dehumidification?
Chemical dehumidification. Yes, sir. In chemical dehumidification, it is in this process we are getting the heating and chemical. So in this process we are getting heating as well as dehumidification. So in chemical dehumidification we are actually using the chemicals like alumina and if I am remember, sir, alumina and silica. I think we use these kind of chemicals to produce the heating effect as well as dehumidify the
Johor, so
particular
can you
space.
represent the chemical dehumidification process on cyclometric chart?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha, Johor, suppose we are having a refrigerator.
Yes, sir.
And that refrigerator we placed in a very small room.
Yes, sir.
By keeping its door open.
Yes, sir.
What do you feel? Like, will it work like a air conditioner? The
Sir,
temperature of that small chamber is going to decrease.
No, sir. The temperature is going to increase if we open the door of the refrigerator.
Why?
Because if we put the assumption like the in cyclic device net heat interaction is a net work interaction, but in a room there is also irreversibility present inside the refrigerator system or in the room, and because of the irreversibility of friction effect, the temperature increases because the process becomes irreversible also.
What is sling cyclometer? What is sling cyclometer?
Sir, sling cyclometer is used to measure the is used to measure the sir is used to measure the humidity of a moist air.
Humidity? How we can measure humidity through sling cyclometer?
Sling cyclometer. Sir, I think, sir, if I am right now putting the guess, I think it is used to measure, sir, wet bulb temperature.
Yes, it is used to measure DBT and WBT. Wet bulb temperature is measured through sling cyclometer.
Yes, sir. So in that we are actually putting a wet cloth over the tip of the this thermometer, and the unsaturated air passes through over this cloth, and the water vapor is getting evaporated from the cloth, which due to which the temperature of the particular thermometer decreases, and when the saturated state comes, it gives us the wet bulb temperature.
What is the relative humidity, Johor? How we can define the relative humidity and how we can measure it?
So relative humidity is basically the ratio of mass of vapor upon the mass of saturated vapor. Basically, it represents the moisture absorbing capacity of the air. And sir, relative humidity, sir, can be measured like by when the unsaturated, sir, the device, I don't know this device, but I know the process like how to measure the relative humidity. Like if we have a water, if we have a spray and a unsaturated air, when we mix these two, then a stage reaches in which the mass of vapor becomes equal to mass of saturated vapor. That means the air became fully saturated. So at that time, we can get 100% relative humidity. It represents basically the moisture absorbing capacity of air.
Mhm. Okay. What is bypass factor, Jahur?
So, sir, bypass factor is basically it is actually, sir, it is an inverse of the efficiency. Like when a air or when a medium passes through a coil, that portion of the air which does not comes in contact with the coil, whether it's a heating or cooling coil, so that is the bypass factor. It actually represents the inefficiency of the coil.
My last question to you: what is Dalton's law of partial pressure?
Sir, Dalton's law of partial pressure states that if there are two components, like if suppose if there are the two components and the total pressure is equal to the sum of partial pressure of the both the components, the total vapor pressure is equal to sum of partial pressure of the components.
Okay. Fine. Acha, what is the difference between infiltration and ventilation?
Sir, infiltration is basically that amount of load that comes into the space through these mirrors or cracks or windows, and it becomes the part of the conditioned space. But ventilation is that type of load or that that comes like if in case of duct system, the heat, the load which comes through this duct system or cooling friction in the coil or friction in the duct, that type of load becomes the load for this conditional coil. So these two are the difference between ventilation and the infiltration.
I suppose
Infiltration,
you are having a kind of air conditioner or refrigerator.
Yes, sir.
At your home, and you want to measure its COP. How you will measure?
Yes, sir. In air conditioner, sir, COP. Yes, sir. Sir, in air conditioner, we will see the how much amount of heat. Sir, if we suppose put any water in the system, and we put the system, we maintain the system at the 0 degree centigrade, then under 24 hours, like 1000 kg of suppose water, then under the 24 hours at 0 degree, we will see the how much ice it has formed. So based on that, we can measure the capacity of this air conditioner, like in ton. I am present in context of ton.
चलो ठीक है जोहर. I think now I can give you the feedback.
Yes, sir.
देखो आपका ठीक लग रहा है जोहर. Most of the question you answered on very right line actually. आपका अंडरस्टैंडिंग ठीक है इस सब्जेक्ट का. डिलीवरी स्टाइल इज ऑल्सो फाइन. यू आर लुकिंग कंफर्टेबल. तो ऐसा मेरे को कोई इशू लगा नहीं है जोहर. रिवाइज करते रहो, मेहनत करो, and definitely I feel you will get through this process interview.
Sir, this last question and the relative humidity measurement question, sir. In that case,
relative humidity देखो दो चीजें हैं. एक तो आपको relative humidity measure करना है, तो there are direct relative humidity measuring devices also we are available to us.
Yes, sir.
या अगर आपको sling cyclometer से करना है, तो what you can do by using sling cyclometer, we can measure DBT and WBT.
Yes, sir.
So that you can easily locate on the cyclometric chart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you can get the relative humidity. Are you getting?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So because
yes,
मैंने आपको क्या कहा था, आपने because you mentioned कि sir sling cyclometer को we use to measure the relative humidity.
Yes,
not directly, but we can use it indirectly to measure the relative humidity. In that context I asked.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
तो हमारे पास ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स भी होते हैं जिससे हम डायरेक्टली मेजर कर पाते हैं. अदरवाइज यू कैन गो विद दी स्लिंग साइक्लोमीटर डेटा आल्सो. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
और देखो सीओपी मेजर करने के लिए, सीओपी अगर आपको मेजर करना है तो यू नीड टू मेजर द वर्क इनपुट. उसके लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? सपोज लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ रेफ्रिजरेटर और एयर कंडीशनर एनीवन. तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि कितना वोल्टेज आप उसमें जा रहा है.
Yes, sir. Right.
या some kind of some kind of meter you can attach कि कितना यूनिट इसने कंज्यूम किया.
Yes, like
voltmeters are there. हाँ, या वोल्ट मीटर से आप देख सकते हो कि कितना करंट उसमें आ रहा है, कितना वोल्टेज उसमें आ रहा है, एंड हाउ मच टाइम इट इज रनिंग. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ पीरियड ऑफ सपोज 30 मिनट्स. 30 मिनट्स में कितने मिनट वो काम किया. अब हर बार तो काम नहीं करेगा, पहले काम करेगा फिर रुक जाएगा.
Yes, sir.
हाउ मच पावर इट कंज्यूम इन दैट टाइम पीरियड.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And then what you can do, you can carry out some calculation ki sir, suppose let's take an example ki room is fully closed, the
Yes, sir.
infiltration is 0, okay, and only the recirculate, it is recirculating, or we can go with suppose 100% ventilation.
Yes, sir.
Infiltration
Yes,
nahi hoga, but 100% ventilation. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you can set it on some kind of that 100% ventilation, for example. So then what you can do, you can measure that change in temperature of the air, the outside temperature, and the temperature of the air which is there inside the room, the temperature
Yes,
at
sir.
which you are maintaining your room. And then
Yes,
you
sir.
can measure the CFM also, what
Yes,
is the volume flow rate you are getting. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
using that also you can get what kind of refrigeration effect you are
Okay,
getting,
sir.
or what kind of heat you are extracting from the air.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
ठीक है, तो
Yes, sir.
उससे आप क्या
Understood.
कर सकते हो, बिकॉज अदर पार्ट्स में आप डोमेस्टिक जो है वो करना बड़ा
Yes.
डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा.
Yes,
अदरवाइज
sir.
रेफ्रिजरेशन इफेक्ट हम कैसे मेजर करते हैं, बाय गेटिंग द ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ चेंज इन एंथैल्पी ऑफ द रेफ्रिजरेंट.
Yes, sir.
तो उसके लिए तो आपको इंटरनल कुछ चेंजेस करने पड़ेंगे इन सम सिस्टम, यू नीड टू अटैच सम थिंग्स.
Yes, sir.
तो एक्सटर्नली क्या क्या कर सकते हो, दैट एक्चुअली यू नीड टू थिंक.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ओके, सेम विद
Yes, sir.
रेफ्रिजरेटर आल्सो, यू मेंशन कि हम कुछ वाटर देख सकते हैं कि कितने टाइम में वो टेम्परेचर चेंज हो रहा है उसका.
Thank you. Yes,
So
sir.
we can empty a particular refrigerator, we can load some kind of water in that, and then
Yes,
we
sir.
can observe कितना उसमें से heat removal हो रहा है, and then you can measure the work input also. Jahur.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got
Right?
it, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Jahur, good luck and best
Thank
luck
you.
for the final day.
Thank you, sir.